You're in terrible, terrible danger.
Necromorphs are the reanimated corpses of the dead, reshaped into new and terrifying forms by a recombinant extraterrestrial infection. The resulting creatures are extremely aggressive and will attack any non-infected organism on sight. Necromorphs are the main antagonists of the entire Dead Space franchise. The sole purpose of almost all necromorphs is to acquire more bodies to convert and spread the infection. Some believe they are heralds of humanity's ascension, but on a more practical level, they are the extremely dangerous result of exposure to the enigmatic devices known as the markers. Necromorphs are controlled through the markers by a group of entities known as the Brother Moons or the Brethren Moons, massive necromorphs created by killing and infecting every living thing on a planet. The necromorph's motivation is to create a mass of necrotic flesh to be collected by the markers during convergence, with the intention of creating another Brother Moon. The first generations of necromorphs begin with the marker. These structures transmit a highly concentrated electromagnetic signal that alters any dead tissue within its range at a cellular level, turning it into necromorph tissue and reanimating the corpse of the host organism. This signal also affects the minds of intelligent life forms, typically manifesting as dementia and leading to homicidal or suicidal behavior, establishing a highly effective contagion system for the necromorph infection. The infection also spreads directly via the necromorph pathogen, namely, the reanimated cells created by the markers that make up the necromorphs. In most cases, the infection is transmitted to new host bodies through specialized necromorphs called infectors or swarms. In order for the necromorph pathogen to infect a host body, the host must first be killed. For unknown reasons, living victims who come into contact with the microbes do not undergo a transformation, though they may experience symptoms such as paralysis, catatonia, and difficulty breathing. While these symptoms do not guarantee the host's death, they may make it easier for nearby necromorphs to catch and kill the victims. Living victims who ingest large quantities of necromorph tissue undergo a slow transformation, eventually die, and become feeders. Once the host dies, the recombinant properties of the infection take hold. The process is extraordinarily fast and predictably violent. Cellular functions enter a self-destructive overload, creating new biologically active compounds that the reanimated flesh then metabolizes to fuel further mutation of the once dead tissue. Bones break, fuse into new configurations, or reform into entirely new shapes. All of this happens in a matter of seconds and generates huge amounts of heat. Most of the time, the violently convulsing corpse becomes so hot that the clotted blood boils in its veins and arteries, causing the skin to burst. Vital and digestive organs that are no longer needed are converted into additional musculature, giving all necromorphs increased physical strength. Pure necromorph tissue is pale pink and translucent. It can move independently and clings to surfaces. This pink tissue can consume and rebuild necrotic flesh and can transform living flesh when injected directly into a living person's bloodstream. The type of necromorph created during infection depends largely on location and circumstances. For example, lurkers are generally formed from organ banks resembling babies used in medical transplants or, in other cases, dogs. Guardians are created from hosts who have been assimilated into the corruption, and it is believed that stalkers are created from human twins. However, some necromorphs clearly comprise more than one human, as in the case of brutes, tripods, or grave robbers, indicating that some form of intelligence is orchestrating the biomass for a specific purpose. In certain cases, necromorphs have been created by inserting necromorph tissue into the brain of a living host. This produces exceptionally powerful necromorphs capable of regenerating severed appendages in a matter of seconds. The most famous necromorph of this type was the Hunter, an experiment by the deranged unitologist Dr. Chalice Mercer. Other similar necromorphs include the Ubermorph encountered on Titan Station and the infected SCAF members on Tal Volantis. All necromorphs are extremely resilient and able to survive in lethal environments, such as the vacuum of space. This implies a complete lack of ventilation or reliance on vascular activity, explaining their resistance to wounds that would cause massive blood loss or hemorrhaging in uninfected humans. Many necromorphs display yellowish, luminescent growths or pustules resembling tumors. These sacs often burst or explode violently when ruptured. It is possible that these organs act as energy sources for the necromorph. Necromorph infection is not limited to human beings alone. The novel Dead Space Martyr describes a necromorph fish that behaves like all other necromorphs, attacking other fish to kill and infect them. Stalkers, though normally created from cloned organ banks, can also be formed from dogs. On the planet Tal Volantis, numerous necromorphs were discovered that came from native alien species. Not all dead flesh is used for mobile necromorph forms. A massive mat-like growth known as the corruption forms from dead matter. The cyst, nest, guardian, and drag tentacles are other types of stationary necromorphs. When a convergence event takes place, a marker triggers a reaction that draws in and recombines all organic bodies across an entire planet into a massive necromorph life form comparable in size to a moon. These ultimate forms are called brother moons, and it is believed there are many of them sleeping throughout the galaxy. Tal Volantis' moon is one of these creatures, though it is incomplete. Despite being seen as mindless killing machines, the creatures sometimes display tactical planning and cooperative behavior. They commonly hunt in small, mixed groups of individuals with semi-specific roles, using stealth, ambushes, or group tactics to outmaneuver their victims. This requires a certain degree of strategic thinking and suggests some level of intelligence and individual communication. Examples include using ventilation ducts to sneak up on prey, playing dead, refraining from attacking until the victim is within range or has turned away, or using a decoy to lure known threats into an ambush. Necromorphs share a form of collective intelligence that allows them to act in coordination during an outbreak. It was once believed that this shared consciousness originated from powerful necromorphs like the hive mind or the nexus. We now know that all necromorphs are controlled by the brother moons. Previously, it was hypothesized that this control was exclusive to the Tal Volantis moon. However, after its disruption and a subsequent awakening of the other brother moons, it was confirmed that active moons are capable of creating and manipulating necromorphs from incredible distances. It has been observed that necromorphs not currently engaging a non-infective target can exhibit various behaviors. Many wander aimlessly, almost passively, without any real destination until they sense a new victim to kill, which they will immediately attack. Some drag bodies to a different location, possibly making them easier for an infector to find. Others hide inside ventilation shafts, creating new ambush points or re-establishing old ones. Some simply remain where they are, waiting for a new victim to approach. When a target is present but out of reach, they often watch it and try to intimidate it with loud growls and threatening postures. Feeders have been observed appearing to feed even when no living beings are nearby. Beyond group tactics, the creatures have never been seen interacting directly with one another. They do not communicate audibly, nor do they touch one another socially, though they might block each other's path during an attack. And there is no record of them exchanging more subtle chemical signals. Pheromones are never mentioned. Their range of behaviors expands in Dead Space 2 with the introduction of stalkers. Outside of the hive mind's influence, stalkers seem to demonstrate the strongest sense of group cohesion and individual intelligence of any necromorph, as they frequently peek around corners to lure Isaac out, while another one charges from a different angle. They are also the only known necromorphs that directly communicate with each other. The noises they make appear to have meaning. For instance, stalkers make a sound immediately after Isaac changes position, alerting the other stalkers. In Dead Space 3, it becomes apparent that when necromorphs lie dormant for years, they huddle in a sort of hanging corruption patch to conserve energy and wait for unsuspecting prey. This can cause them to become mummified if left in that state. One example is when Isaac and Carver enter the derelict CMS Roanoke, a 200-year-old ship orbiting Tal Volantis. There, a type of necromorph called wasters can be seen wielding melee weapons. Unusual behavior since necromorphs had never previously been observed using man-made tools. This could suggest that some necromorphs are evolving and may have gained a slight degree of intelligence. Alternatively, their behavior may be contextually updated by the shared consciousness. Another example of necromorphs adapting contextually is found with the creeper and the shambler. When creepers take over the body of a SCAF soldier, They immediately seem to know how that soldier's weapon works and will wield it, albeit crudely, with poor accuracy, indicative of low, fine motor control. Another theory regarding why necromorphs can wield weapons is that when the host died, their hands froze from rigor mortis while still gripping their weapons. As mentioned previously, necromorphs do not suffer the vulnerabilities associated with the body needing interconnected vital organs, a centralized nervous system, respiration, or vascular support. Injuries that would kill an ordinary human, such as a gunshot to the cranial cavity, have little effect on them. Countless people have died without realizing the necromorph's only weakness: dismemberment. The only quick and effective way to kill them is literally to cut them to pieces by removing the head, arms, legs, and other appendages until the creature dies. Some necromorphs, such as the hunter, the ubermorph, and the regenerators, cannot be killed through dismemberment because they can regenerate all body parts after being severed. The only way to permanently kill these particular necromorphs is to destroy the entire creature at once, as Isaac did when he killed the hunter by burning it with a shuttle's engines. Each creature has its own strategies when it comes to dismemberment. Some simply die once enough limbs are removed, some instantly die if a specific limb is cut off, while others become an even greater threat if shot in the wrong spot. Learning to dismember creatures is mostly done through trial and error. Nevertheless, dismemberment is the only truly effective way to stop these reanimated horrors, and is the best way to survive. In Dead Space 3, dismemberment does not play as significant a role in killing necromorphs. If a weapon inflicts sufficiently high-impact damage, it can kill them with a single shot to the chest or one of their limbs on the hardest difficulties. Feeders are also the only necromorphs whose weak point is the head. With any other variant, shooting it in the head only enrages it into a berserker-like frenzy, causing it to flail its arms wildly while continuing to advance on its prey. And that's the story behind the terrifying necromorphs, from their ruthless origins to the gruesome ways they hunt. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching and for sharing in the horror. But don't close your eyes just yet. If spine-chilling stories and dark mysteries are your thing, I'd love for you to join me on my other channel, Crime Insomnia. There we dive into the most unsettling true crime cases and eerie unsolved mysteries that will definitely keep you up at night. So if you're feeling brave, head on over and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon, either here or over on Crime Insomnia, if you dare. Hey, don't go just yet. If you enjoyed my video, I'd love to recommend another one for you to watch.